I called to order the public hearing agenda on Tuesday, July 7th at 7:02 p.m. Roll call. Senator Fife
Jim Massey.
and Megan Lally is on Zoom. So third order agenda, IWWC application number 26-2, replacement of bridge number 001007, Lake Road over Cheney Brook.
Yeah, and so I'll just open it a little and then turn it over to, I presume you're the consultant representing. So this is for a bridge replacement over Cheney Brook on Lake Road. Obviously, there's serious deterioration of the existing bridge. So it's gonna be cast in that location, to my understanding from the reading. He'll describe it more, so I'll turn it over to the applicant, well, representative of the applicant, since the applicant is now.
Good evening. My name is Howard Frommer. I'm with Nathan Jacobson Associates, an engineer there at the firm. We are the town's consulting town engineer, so this is a town project. Replacement of bridge 001007, Lake Road over Cheney Brook. I've got a color drawing here, which is one of the same drawings that's in the packet that we submitted to you, just colors so that you can see it a little bit better. So the location of the project is at the south end of Andover Lake. On this drawing, Lake Road is running east-west, left to right on the drawing sheet, and the Cheney Brook runs south to north. The project is located immediately adjacent to the intersection of Basola Road and Lake Road. The existing culvert consists of a steel bolted corrugated metal pipe arch with cast in place concrete upstream wing walls and parapet wall, and downstream concrete masonry unit wing walls and parapet wall. Roadside barriers don't comply with current design standards, safety standards. There's also a perched, what we call a perched outlet. I'll show you some photographs of that in a moment, that prohibits the passage of aquatic organisms through the culvert. So these are just some photos that I brought along. Here's an image of that perched outlet. You get a sense of the step there for fish to pass through. These photos right here sort of join. This is an elevation view of the outlet of the culvert. And I'm not sure from your perspective, but there's considerable 100% section loss of many of the flanges and webs of the concrete masonry units on the downstream side. So it's proposed to replace the existing culvert with a precast reinforced concrete three-sided frame set on cast in place reinforced concrete footings pinned to rock with cast in place reinforced concrete wing walls and bridge rail curb and moment slabs. From your perspective, always the important thing people want to know is the road getting wider? No, it's the same 30-foot road width curb to curb. We're maintaining that. Is the road elevation increasing? No, it's the same elevation. So the bridge will be in the same location, same elevation. Really, the only thing that's happening here is the waterway area is getting larger. During construction, we will be closing Lake Road, but we have to obviously maintain access to Basola Road, given that it's a dead-end road. So there are drawings in the set that depict that. That means the protection of traffic plan. From an erosion control standpoint, I will say that we'll be maintaining the blow flow by passing a temporary sleeve pipe through the existing pipe. It's not shown on this drawing, but with super sack sandbag type cofferdams to enable the contractor to construct the project in the dry. There's also construction entrances on Lake Road. Although I will say that we're looking at getting rid of both of these, the one on the west side on Lake Road and the one at Basola. Doesn't make a lot of sense, particularly as there are people that drive through. We also have erosion sediment control around the 3 proposed catch basin inlets. There's hay bales and sedimentation fence at the toe of proposed slopes. There's green areas, erosion control blanket. The slopes will be vegetated. There are 34 proposed plants to go on the slopes. The stream bottom will be reestablished with natural stream bottom material. And we'll have riprap at the four corners of the bridge that we call it, sort of in front of the wing walls, but not in the channel. The riparian, the step, the perch step will be removed with the proposed structures. So now the ability of aquatic organisms to pass through the culvert can occur. We're also proposing 2 riparian shelves. I'll show you an image of that on both sides of the water course through the barrel. Here's a very large depiction of that. So there's sort of shells on the left and right side of this rectangular opening for terrestrial critters to pass through to try and reduce any mortality issues if that is indeed the case out there with them going up over the road. From a permitting standpoint, we are obviously here seeking approval from this commission. The town has decided that planning and zoning approval is not necessary. Since I met with this commission, I think it was May, we did receive the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers permit, so that's in hand. Also, we received the DEEP 401 water quality certification permit. Construction is anticipated for a 5-month period starting in June of 2027. So we would go out to bid probably at the end of this year or very beginning of next year. And construction would occur, so June, July, August, September, October. It's a grant funded project, well, 50% grant on the total project cost through the DOT State Local Bridge Program. So again, it's a state funded project. And I believe that's the majority of what I wanted to share. Just check here, see if there's anything else. Yeah, that's about it. Can I entertain any questions at this point? Is that what you'd like me to do?
Does anyone from the commission have any questions at this point?
I have a question. I live at 218 right there. See those dots up there? Those are trees, I think,
On the screen.
on the screen.
On the screen. Her property.
That's my property there,
Yeah, so you live right here?
right there, yeah.
Yep.
And those are my trees on the, right on the street. Do, and those just stay there?
Yeah, so actually what you're looking there, those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trees, those are actually proposed.
Those are what?
Those are proposed.
What's that mean?
So that means we recognize you have some there and we need to disturb those. We'd like to move those back a little bit. So either we could move what you have or we could plant anew. Right now, we're calling for them to be replanted.
I'm not happy about that. I've had them for 3 years. A lot of, money, time, effort. They're beautiful. And I feel if you dig them up and try to replant them, they won't make it. Is there any way you can just leave them there?
The ones to the right, maybe half of the ones to the right, we could probably leave that there and reduce the shoulder width a little bit. But as we get to the ones to the west, you see how they're sort of in green? There's not a lot I can do to avoid disturbing those few. I could do something for the ones on the east side, the eastern
I mean,
half.
towards my driveway.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
So you could leave how many from my driveway over?
Well, we don't show the individual trees here on the existing plan, so I have to go check that. I don't know how many.
How were you proposed to remove the trees, by excavation or by tree spade?
Well, depending on the size of the tree.
Yeah, correct.
What kind of trees are
They're like those gentle giant, the
they?
evergreen.
Arborvitaes that just.
They're huge.
Yeah, Oh, okay, they're huge already, even after 3 years.
Yeah,
So it's the screening, that's nice.
it's a privacy.
Right,
Sure.
right.
So basically, if you were to remove them temporarily, you would put them back almost exactly where she has them now. So I think her biggest concern is that if you move them or disturb them, they're gonna die.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And if that happens, will they be replaced with the exact same plant?
Yeah, so, there's a guarantee period, a statutory 1-year guarantee period on the contractor's work, so certainly, and particularly plants, there's always a certain percentage that die every year, there's no question about it. Even the 34 that I'm talking about here, some percentage will die, the contractor will be required to replace them, and we hold money back. We hold usually a significant sum to entice them to come back. So the several plants that you have on the east side, I could leave some by reducing the shoulder here. I think I'm okay with that. But as we get further out here, I need the shoulder width, which is driving the slope, which is causing the disturbance to the plants. So I don't know how many, because these are proposed.
Mhm.
But some could be left. I'd have to look at that carefully.
Well, so the nursery that planted those for me, I have bill of sale and what they're worth. So I would like to be, reimbursed for those trees.
Well, it sounds like it would replace. They'd replace with the same type, height.
How tall are they?
I would say right now, they look like they're 10 to 12 feet tall,
Yeah, so maybe 3 or 4 inch diameter.
bigger. They're huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to consult with, probably our soil
I wish
scientist.
I knew that this was gonna happen, because I never would have planted them,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, so how long ago did you plant them?
3 years.
3. Okay. I think our goal would be, let's see if we can save some, not disturb them, and the others that have to be disturbed, I guess I would consult the person that we deal with, our soil scientist, who also deals with our plants. He's the professional on that and not myself. And get his recommendation. I get him out to take a look at them and tell us what he thinks the best thing is to do.
So how,
Maybe you can put them somewhere, still get fresh water and not disturb their growth so much that if you were to replant them, she just wants to try to conserve the privacy as they grow.
Well, I'm imagining that we could, move them once and move them from the existing position to the proposed position. So I wouldn't suggest we move and set them off somewhere.
Are you building up on that slope?
Yeah, yes, we are, but
Cause I know it goes,
there's no reason why the contractor couldn't, independently build up this slope right here, just for the sole purpose of moving plants.
and the bottom area is, I remember when I was a teenager, we used to take the vines and swing and jump in the water. The bottom area, are you disturbing any of those trees? Do any of them have to be removed? Like the bottom flat area that is adjacent to the property?
So there is a demolition plan in the set. And we're showing sort of a clearing limit here. We've identified some of the larger trees and to be disturbed or removed, actually, is what the circle with X is. So specifically where you're talking about, you have to get real specific with me for me to answer your question, but generally speaking, this limit is at the toe of the proposed slope.
So here's the water that comes in, like right here, it's really flat.
Yeah, no, we're not out there.
So you're not gonna be out there,
No.
you're just basically staying like right here.
Correct.
Cause I know some of these trees are dead.
Okay.
Yeah, I drive a school bus, so I see them all the time, so
Okay.
that's why I was wondering.
and my other question is I own that property up to the brook. So whoever asked me, about all this?
Right, so the town is responsible for contacting the property owners and discussing easements. I apologize for not being able to tell you what the status of that is, I do not know. It sounds to me like they haven't yet.
I will look into it for you, but let me get your name. in your email. I'm new to the position, but I will definitely look into where that process is at, okay?
Thank you.
So I live across from you. I'm at 204, so I'm on the left side of that picture.
Over here.
And there is a pin that shows the edge of my property line. Probably about 15 feet from the bridge. Because I have a large stone there. I just don't know how far you're gonna end up disturbing the area to the left. And whether I can retain that stone. I lined that whole corner with stones because before
Yeah,
parking in the area. Now it's a walk for the town. But mind that.
yeah, when you get as close to the drawings as I am, you can see there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stones adjacent to the proposed work.
Yep.
And there's actually guardrail going to be there now. That's
Oh,
proposed. So, that would certainly prevent anybody from pulling off there. And then after the guardrail, you have your existing stones would remain 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, another 9. Continuing on up the road, that's
so
not,
that guardrail. I don't necessarily walk through it, but other people kind of cut that corner through, my property there. That guardrail kind of will allow that egress.
it's a 33-inch high rail. I guess it depends how agile you are. I mean, most people probably don't.
Yeah,
A younger person, I would expect, I'm not sure
yeah.
who you see walking across there.
I'm just asking because in the past when we've had storms and those will trigger them knocked down, somebody posted and said, is anybody gonna clear that? And I'm like, well, that's my property. Well, I don't walk there while I'm clear, but if somebody did it, somebody across the street came.
I mean, we could certainly,
Yeah,
I don't know that it would make any sense to leave the stones behind the guide rail. I assumed we would
not really.
remove the ones that fall behind the guide rail.
No, but I was concerned about people who, they walk through that corner because of the traffic issue.
Right.
And safety.
Right.
It's just a cute little path. If you're walking
Yeah.
your dog, you walk into the lake.
I've seen
It's
it,
just
yes.
just a cute path. May develop, leave it okay. Another question I have is, I know there's like a step of water that you were talking about earlier. Is that's gonna completely drop, and if it does, will it affect the flow of water coming down Missoula?
So we have a hydraulic profile in this set. Probably again, hard for you to see from where you are, but from where I am, I can clearly see the existing grade to the barrel, the drop, and then it undulates on its way down to Andover Lake. So we're sort of taking an average of that. And that's how we're able to get rid of that drop. And this has been approved by DEP Fisheries.
Is that for fish to try to go up Missoula
Yeah,
or partway?
I'm
I know
not,
there's crayfish there.
yeah, I'm not a fisheries biologist, but I
Okay.
guess there are species that definitely swim upstream, so.
Okay.
And DEP Fisheries would like to see them get.
I know the sucker fish all stop right there, you know. Pool
Yeah,
at that
it's
bottom,
all good.
like they can't get any higher, so it'd be interesting to see if they can make it up higher after all these years.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the objectives.
Okay. And it's 5 months?
We're anticipating 5 months.
Because like I said, in charge of the school buses. So I can reroute temporarily for parents so that they understand that the kids. That's why another reason, I live just up the street, my house is not that close. But my concern was when it was closing, I'm glad it was closing in the summer, because then it gives parents more time that they don't have to worry about the kids on a bus.
Yeah, what a lot of our municipal clients like to do is we do this, here, it makes sense. Try and time things so that the actual physical work, would start after school is out. I'm not, you must know the date.
We usually
Right.
end about the second week of June, but then it all depends on how many snow days.
Correct, so we would all take our best guess at that, and then we'd obviously be impacting the fall a little bit,
A little bit.
a little bit.
Okay. Well, that sounds great.
Yeah.
That's good. I didn't know it was eroding that much.
Yeah, the pictures are impressive.
They are, when you show the other side, and you can see the holes that have been,
And that was taken, I think, a couple of years ago. Now I haven't been down the back there since.
okay. Interesting, thank you.
Any other public comment?
For the record, Hank Clear from the Conservation Commission, just happy to hear that the purchase going on, that's great, that's a great ecological side of thing. Just a couple questions. The riprap, I thought I heard you say the riprap's just on the exterior, right, those shells, it's not gonna be on the top of the shells, on the interior of the culvert?
Correct. No, the riprap is outside of the
Yeah.
bridge on the slope, not in the channel.
Right.
So on the slope in front of the windmills.
And those shells you mentioned on the sides, what's the width of those?
2 feet.
2 feet, and that's natural material or just bare soil, that's the area that's not good.
That's gonna be what they call the natural stream bottom material.
So
Is there any other public comment from anyone on Zoom?
I have a question. Hi, I'm Linda Derrick. I'm the president of ALMA, Andover Lake Management Association, and there's several of us here from that board. And two questions. One, I'm wondering by the way, the board of the first selectman did send us as an abutter the blueprints of the drawing several months ago so that we could begin to inform ourselves and make sure that we could attend this meeting. So we did get that. I don't know that every abutter did, but I know he was working on that. And so the easement, because we have to approve, all the abutters, right, have to approve the easement?
There are proposed easements in the project.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one of our questions was, are those easements temporary during the course of the construction project, or are they permanent?
Both. The biggest ones are temporary, and then there are some smaller permanent ones. So for instance, on the upstream side, this large area here is temporary, and there's a little triangular area right at the corner here that's permanent, because even today, part of the existing road does not fall in the right of way. It falls on private property, and this is the time to fix that. On the downstream side, there's a large temporary easement and a small permanent easement here where the guide rail end anchor comes out of the right of way, because the right of way is extremely narrow just off the off the curb. And then over on this corner here, the sort of southwest quadrant, there's sort of a large temporary easement and a permanent easement right in the corner. So we have 3 small permanent easements and 3 large temporary easements. And the temporary easements expire, as you probably know, once the construction is over.
And the second question I have is sort of a selfish one as a dog walker around the lake. So you mentioned that access to Balsola will have to be maintained throughout. Will that include a pedestrian passageway through the construction site during these 5 months?
Construction, excuse me, a temporary passageway through the construction site, from our perspective, is a bad idea to recommend to the town, just purely from a safety standpoint.
Sure.
So the quick answer is no, there's no plans for people to walk or bike through the construction. The road will be closed, and by closed, it's closed to everybody.
Just to clarify, so if you were coming out of Basola and taking a left, that's not going to be possible as a pedestrian?
If
So
you're
you're
coming
coming-
out,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're coming from the upstream side of the stream, basically
Yeah.
coming, yeah.
No, you're correct. If you come out of Basola and take a left, that will be possible. However, you're actually going to be on a temporary road that's sort of outside this gray area on the plan. So it's off in this, on somebody's property is what it is, a temporary access. So that, you could walk in there, but you couldn't walk over where the culvert is. That would be a hole in the ground.
Right, like currently is Long Hill.
Long Hill?
Hi, I have a question. I'm Jim Cole. I'm on the lake on Alma. Could you clarify the impact during construction and long-term of the amount of sediment load coming down Cheney Brook into the lake?
You know, the majority of the work will be done within, a cofferdam. So the majority of the work, I've got a print I can show it. And that work is done within a cofferdam to enable the work in the dry. So this area here will be dry. The brook flow will go through temporary sleeved pipes and continue on. So, you know, sedimentation from that activity should be absolutely minimal. I mean, I think there's no question when it does come time to replace the natural stream bottom material, contractors will typically use smaller sandbags or sometimes wait for a really low flow, which is why we want to do the construction in the June to October timeframe. There's no question that there's a little bit of sediment load from that. Other than that, the riprap is going to be open and not chinked, so any sediment coming down the bank towards the stream would get trapped in that riprap. I mean, that's I guess the quick answer. And then, of course, there will be hay bales and sedimentation fence around the toes of other slopes to help prevent any sedimentation from escaping.
And by eliminating that sharp drop off that currently exists, long term, will that affect the amount of sediment being deposited in the lake?
I wouldn't expect it to. I would expect that, you know, in short order, you know, Mother Nature is going to, you know, settle that natural stream bottom material down. We typically, for natural stream bottom material, DEP will approve it during the construction, and typically I find that it's something that doesn't have a lot of, certainly clay or silt in it, super fine particles. You know, it's sort of gravelly with, you know, some finer material. So that helps to eliminate the sedimentation long term.
Are there any other questions from anyone on Zoom? Good, any other questions?
Yeah, I want to ask a question. It may sound like a silly question, but the size of the riprap. And the reason I ask is because they have tried the riprap that years ago, left and right. And the kids would spend the afternoon throwing those rocks into the street. Now, I've seen something similar in West Hartford Reservoir System. What they did with their riprap is they covered it with fine wire mesh. So somebody couldn't get stones out of there. So just an observation. Isn't really sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't seen that before. So that's a good idea if it's a vandalism issue. There was talk initially with this commission about changing the riprap solid, but for good reason, we all decided to leave it open graded, more for sediment protection. The size of the riprap is probably 18, 12-inch, 10-inch stone. Might be some smaller ones in there, and maybe some bigger ones, but generally, you know, in the 1.5 to 12-inch range.
Small enough for teenage. I live in Pro, so that's people water.
Any other questions? Okay. All right. So hearing none, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
And just make sure she gets your name in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You guys staying for the regular meeting as well?
Wow. Thanks. Thank you for.
You. Appreciate you guys coming out.
That is available on the town website too.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, on the wetlands page, yeah.
My name was before. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
And I'll be right.
Yeah, it's right, Tammy.
outside too.
No, I'll
be outside.
be
Yeah.
You hate them? That's definite.
Yeah, I'll look into the debates and conversations and looking at Susan.
Sorry. Thank you for bringing that up. And then, I don't know who will contact me about the trees.
So it's possible the commission can make final decisions tonight, or they might choose to continue, when they decide later, so. I can't tell you that, we decide if they wait, I don't know, trees, not next time.
Wetlands,
That's
me,
common portion of the hearing as well.
yeah,
But the commission's.
all right, well, I'll just wait for somebody to, get a hold of me then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good night.
Okay. So I will call to order the regular inland wetlands meeting. At 7:34 on July 7th, 2026. So roll call. Martin Fife.
Jim Massey?
Megan Lally.
Okay. I don't think there's any additional changes or to agenda, right?
I was just gonna motion that we move item number 8 to, I guess, become item number 4. Basically to be the next order of business.
Sure. Do we need a motion for that? I think so, right?
I did, yeah, I did motion.
Oh, okay, I will second the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Okay, so next up would be easement enforcement actions. Welcome Savannah Kitchen, our new inland agent.
Hi, everyone. Good to be here. No enforcement has happened yet on my watch.
Everybody's good.
Yeah. Yeah, no real updates as of today. But I'm happy to hear. Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, it made sense to actually say hello to you before
Yes.
the meeting.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, glad to finally have an agent, and now we can, you know, that's how we were before, make things run a little more smoothly.
Good.
All right, so approval of last meeting's minutes. Did anybody see anything they want to change?
I did not.
No?
Maybe.
Everything look okay?
No, I was gonna make a motion to approve.
Okay. I'll second the motion to approve last meeting's minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
So public comment. I'm not sure how to go about public comment, so that closed already.
So this is for.
Well, that was, yeah, go ahead.
Want to say.
Okay,
Just.
okay. So there would be no further public comment.
Thanks, so. Any comments?
Nope. Okay. Old business. So permit number 26-2, replacement of bridge number 001007, Lake Road over Cheeseburger.
If I may start us off, I had a couple thoughts on things that we could ask for from
Sure.
the applicant or the representative of the applicant. I think it might be nice to see what's called IPAC results, so it's Fish and Wildlife's review of the culvert for endangered bat species that have been allowed new species listed. That's something relevant the commission could ask for and just see that there's a no effect there. I presume they've done it, but it'd be nice to have a document to say that. I think a condition, I drafted some conditions at a time, special conditions for it. I think making sure that dewatering is in the upland area would be a nice condition to add, so that we provide as much space as possible before it comes back into the water. And then I didn't see the list of plants. He mentioned there's 34 proposed plants. You know, I think we can make a condition that they're wetland or planting that would do well in wetland, because it seems like most of the areas are wet areas that are being. And to see the.
Do we know if there's a list? Excuse me, can we ask you a question?
You can,
Do you have a plant list?
excuse me,
Do you have a plant list, a proposed planting list for the project?
yes, on the drawings, I'm gonna read it to you,
I didn't see it in the application materials, but maybe I missed it.
that's okay.
You don't have to read it to me, just as long as we have it, so I really, it's more making sure that they're, wetland plants that'll do well.
Yeah, there's a planting legend at the bottom of sheet 7, and it has the.
We missed those
On it,
names.
such,
Okay, sheet 7.
sheet 7.
Thank you very much. Can I ask you one more question right here?
I'm gonna come back.
Oh, yeah. It'll be quick, I guess. Is there any, wetland area that would be removed entirely and completely and not replaced?
What do? So we have an environmental impact. Permanent wetland impact, area 79 and not replaced. So yes, yes is the quick answer,
Okay,
yes. That would be permanent wetland impact shown on sheet 24.
okay. And we have a percentage value for that on the plan?
There's 253 square feet out of 3,400.
Oh, okay.
So. Percentage, 40%.
Sorry. And the location is shown on sheet 24, is that correct?
Location is shown on sheet 24.
Thank you.
Savannah, the only thing I'll note with making a condition that the plants have to be wetlands is that could create a problem for, like the discussion of the plants along the driveway that the abutting landowner was discussing. So I think we just want to make sure it won't restrict upland plants that might, not necessarily be native species.
That's a good point. Yeah, okay, noted. And I can make it clearer that any plants that are put in the wetland are wetland native species.
So currently they have Acer Saccharum, which is sugar maple,
Mhm.
and Montreal Canadensis, which is a shadwell, Cornus racemosa and Cornus flora, which are both dogwoods. As far as I know, those are not all wetland species. Not like any of them are wetland species.
So this is not sheet 7, is it?
I'm not sure it's either.
Yeah. So he's showing, okay, so the numbers correspond. He is showing them outside of the wetland. But there are proposed removals, it looks like, within the wetland.
Yeah, so it looks like they're all gonna be on that slope.
Yeah, and that's the planting plan really is for the slopes.
Yeah.
But I think what we wanna see is what sort of the restoration looks like for the wetlands that are gonna be affected. Sure. Build.
Okay. For the soil exploration too.
And do we need more information on that woman's property?
Yeah, I'll check into what's going on with the easement. Thing there, I'm not sure who would be in charge of speaking to her about the.
And why she didn't get a
Yeah,
notification where some of the other people did?
yeah, that is strange. I'm definitely.
As far as I know, the town reached out to everyone because we spoke to. Early on, I forget who we spoke to about that,
Oh, yeah.
but the town, as far as I know, about the town reaching out to all of them. The abutters.
But that lady should have gotten, especially if they're touching, they're affecting her
Her
property.
property, correct.
Yeah.
You should have gotten something, yeah.
Yeah, I will absolutely get to that. I don't
Sure.
know.
Yeah, I think we just need to be careful about staying within the wetlands lane. So they should have received, a notification of the application as abutters, but the easements and stuff like that would come after approval of the application, if that's what we choose to do, isn't really within our scope. That's for the town to deal with.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
If some of those easements don't get approved, they might have to come back to us. This would be, if we approve the permit as currently presented, and then they went to, pursue those easements and weren't granted them and had to change the project design, then they might have to come back to wetlands and make sure, we're still willing to issue the permit under kind of whatever the design changes are, but it's not a wetlands role to manage the easements.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be in the town.
As a town agent though, since she brought it up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I'll send her to the right person, which I presume would be the town manager.
Yeah.
I know it was a different town manager that applied for.
Yeah, I think it was under Eric before, Eric Anderson, right? Isn't that how he
I
started?
think that was it, yeah. So-
Yeah, I think we're sorry.
I think it was under original.
Stuff that lost.
Yeah. Okay, so we need a motion for that, right? For all those things?
Yeah, so you can, motion to include the specifics of what we just talked about in the, special conditions of the permit approval. If you're looking to approve it tonight, you can also. And you, this is under old business. It has been open, however, we just did a public hearing, which. I think we're very close to the decision deadline
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah,
We're
we
reaching
talked
the
about that.
time allowed.
Yeah.
So I would consider making a decision. You can always ask the representative or the applicant for an extension and they can allow you.
Sure. Okay, so I make a motion to ask for looking for the IPAC results. To verify the dewatering upland area. And to make a proposal of the wetland specific plans that we may want to see.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, like a second.
I'll second him.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed.
Do we need a motion to request an extension from the applicant?
If you're not prepared to make a decision, yeah, then that's what you would do.
Yeah, it sounds like if we're waiting on that information.
You could just request that information be received prior to initiation of work. That could be one of your conditions, or if you want to see it beforehand, absolutely, then you can request to extend.
That's kind of, I was thinking we can approve the permit and then. Yeah, obviously, we don't want to see any construction before we get some of these things back.
Yeah.
Are you in favor of that, Megan?
But since we're not starting for another year.
Yeah, as long as there's nothing that, there's no information gaps that those documents that we just talked about represent. We don't want to make a decision if we don't feel that we have all the information we need to make that decision. But if we feel comfortable making a decision in the absence of that list, that's fine.
Maybe we can just ask real quick, if we can get some clarification on the iPad. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Howard. Oh, Howard, sorry.
We were wondering if you had the IPAC results.
I do.
Oh, okay, no effect.
I have a consistency letter and a species letter with me.
Oh, you do?
Basically, the northern long-eared bat's endangered, so that was noted.
Yes.
And the tricolored bat,
Yeah.
which is I think a candidate. And then probably using the wrong term. And then there's monarch butterfly.
I would
And
say
all-
it's a concern.
all That was submitted to the Corps.
Yeah.
And the Corps digested that information and that resulted in a permit being issued.
Okay, so the IPAC results said that there could be northern long-eared bats.
I can tell you, and I'm sure some other people in the room know too, as soon as you do anything around here, generally.
No, I
speaking,
know, yeah.
It's the northern long-eared bat. And tricolor bat. I guess it's sort of, my perspective sort of boils down to sometimes, what's the amount of tree removal you're doing, and a whole host of other things that could make that become a problem, but I've found that it seems that most of the time dealing with the Corps, they seem to understand that certainly if we remove the trees in the wintertime when the bats are hibernating somewhere, that's one way to deal with it. And some Corps people seem to think that, well, there's not a lot of, it's a few
Yeah.
trees and a sea of trees, so they don't.
It's not so much the trees that I've seen a concern as the actual culvert itself is very large, expensive. Were any surveys for guano done?
So that rule changed, March 9th of this year, in Connecticut, I believe the only place you have to worry about bats living in culverts is in Fairfield County unless the culvert is over 200 feet long. We actually ordered a bunch of bat surveys at the cost of like $3,000 for all these municipalities that started doing them. And as soon as they had made the decision to require that, the SPO suddenly decided, oh, you don't have to do that anymore because the study was done to find that really it's not that much of an issue.
Huh.
So, no, we did not complete
Yeah,
a
because
study
you
on
didn't
this
have to.
because as of March, we didn't need to do it anymore.
That was as of March this year.
Also in Connecticut, the structure, I believe, I believe that's cause for suspicion too, but this is not a wooden structure.
Yeah.
Or masonry,
Okay, so
Yes.
those would be the conditions in which you need to.
where
make
you
an
might
inspection.
find bats in some crevice, I guess.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. That's really helpful. Did you want to ask anything else?
Yeah, dewatering in the upland area. Where is your dewatering taking place right now?
You want me to set this back up?
Sure. Sorry, I know you just took it all down.
No, it's my mistake, I just assumed after the public hearing is closed that that's it for me, so. That's okay. What's all right.
Yeah, we should have a few more questions.
That's fine.
Uh-oh.
No, actually, that's not a bad thing. The first time in 42 years, well, I mean, you might be right. This thing actually collapsed on me at a meeting with 150 people in the audience. Oh, collapsed.
Yay.
You won't be able to put that on chair, maybe.
Or the table,
I was thinking,
or the
Yeah.
table, right? Maybe.
Don't put that on there.
Wonky like.
Maybe.
Hey, it might
Yeah,
work.
good
look at that.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's the wrong side.
It's the wrong side. Okay, well, I will hold this up. So the watering basin is this little square over here. So it's on the downstream side. Here's the channel. It's outside of the wetland, so it's upland of the wetland line and an area that's relatively flat. Actually, very flat.
That's what you want to see right to that.
Yeah, and there's no other, and so all dewatering will be through that
That's
area and.
that's
there's
what we're
other
proposing. Sometimes, you know, as a designer of record, our responsibility is to show something that will work for dewatering. I'll be the first to tell you that sometimes contractors submit their own plan.
Yeah,
Some commissions I find make a condition of approval that they want to see the contractor's submitted dewatering handling plan, which I think is a great idea.
Mhm.
Because I'm sitting here saying to you, this is what we're proposing.
yeah, but you
But
don't know what they're.
You don't know. It's a means and methods thing. Yeah. So he might propose something different.
I think at very minimum, you could add a condition that it must be in the upland area.
Sure.
Just to ensure that it's still, so it's a resource area. Is it, proposed like hay bales or straw bales, like one of those square? It's gonna be water bed.
Yeah, I believe we're using name, sort of dirt bags, have a large tea bag. And
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, and just look at the detail here, see what we have. To get in.
Just in the upland.
Yeah, so that's the detail of the bag with the hay bales around it, and it's set on a crushed stone bed.
Okay, thank you.
And then did we want to make a proposal of what specific plans now, or did we want to come up with a list and just, we want to see that?
Yeah, I guess so. We saw the plant list on sheet 7, which looks like mostly upland trees for the proposed slopes that are being put in. But I presume there's gonna be some wetland areas restored too. Is that correct?
Let me go to our impact. So. Really, the majority of what's happening is we're. It's probably hard for you to see, you know, all of this proposed, you know, sort of burying the existing underneath here, but you know, that's the existing barrel. Here's the proposed, you know, the existing water course is all the way over here where the red is, and that's becoming a slope. There is some existing wetland here, which is becoming riprap. It's not in the channel, it's on the slopes. This is actually all riprap.
So that's the 250 square feet.
Well, that's one of them. There's four little areas like that. One here, a sliver over here, and a sliver over here, where there's a little bit of wetland outside of the channel, but it's becoming riprap. So to answer your question, are we restoring any wetland areas?
They're being
And it seems like no, because any place where we're disturbing the wetland, it's being disturbed because it's becoming something else. But we should get credit for the fact that, this 14-foot barrel is becoming 28 feet wide, so we should get some credit for the water, the fact that we're creating a water course.
Mhm.
Just my own personal opinion.
No, I understand.
Well, and we talked previously about the habitat improvement, the in-stream habitat improvement, by removing the perch culvert.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part of that.
Oh, that we had talked about, I think at the last time we met, about the in-stream habitat improvements that replacing the perch culvert would create. I think someone earlier during the public hearing had talked about like the suckers not being able to go upstream right now and things like that.
Yes, we talked about that. Is there a question?
Yeah.
No question. Just pointing out that is, despite there are losses, that there's maybe not an area, but value gains, I think, in the project design.
Yeah, the positives outweigh
Yeah.
anything that, might be impacted. Okay, did you guys want to make a motion tonight, dependent on certain things? On the condition that we see a dewatering plan from the contractors?
I think we should, this way we won't run out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you okay with that, Megan?
Yeah, I think we just have to think about how you make the motion. They just need to submit that material before work commences. We can't rescind the approval if they
Right.
don't submit something.
The IPAC information here,
I do.
so we can get
So
a
we'll
copy
have
of
that
that.
tonight.
You won't know the contractor specs until there's actually a contractor chosen.
Right.
Which will be a while.
I mean, if we're lucky, if we bid it early enough, we plan to start construction in June and we get a good contractor. They'll give us all their shop drawings during those months prior to June before they actually start the physical
Sure.
work. And then we'll have that dewatering plan that we could share with you. And, it wouldn't hold up the contractor per se.
Yeah.
As long as it didn't take too long to come through this commission. I suppose if he, submitted all the shop drawings, once he started the physical work, well, then there's that time crunch. Everybody's, so eager to process things quickly because he needs it. He's not being responsible, giving it to us early enough. I just don't know which way it'll go until we know.
I think having the condition that the dewatering plan is to be provided and that it will be in another area.
Yeah.
Is substantial, but
And that the wetland plans have to be approved by you before the other construction.
any planting should be approved by the wetlands agent, and then you can also, if you wanna go ahead and say like any straw or hay bales, you should be free of invasives. And so we have as an
Have that.
so we can include it.
Savannah, in the future, I know we're kind of under a time crunch with this application. It's unusual, but is it possible to prepare written suggestions for conditions for permits for the commission to consider?
Yeah, absolutely, no problem. I will do that.
Excellent. Yeah, I don't remember who, but I recall an agent, at least in the past, doing that, and it was very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good idea.
Okay. I make a motion to approve permit number 26-2, replacement of bridge number 001007, Lake Road over Cheney Brook, under the condition that the contractors will submit a dewatering plan that is within the upland review prior to initiation of construction. Any wetland plants must be approved by our wetland agent, and any hay and shrub bales must be free of invasives prior to construction. Does that
I have a
sound
second question.
okay? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's
Sorry.
given us a lot of information.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
Okay, so. Permit number 26-3, proposal for Chamberlain Pond parking lot is on hold. Pending submission of a formal plan. Lack of good mapping data is in the process right now, so.
Can anyone explain what that means?
Yeah, or why was that done?
I got a briefing from Wayne and I didn't look into it that much because I knew it was not tonight's agenda. I was focused on this. So all I know is that there hasn't been any new maps received.
Okay.
But I really don't know.
Yeah, we had asked for a drawing essentially to show where the boundaries of the placement would be. I will say, since we had that application, there was someone in town mentioned that the wetlands agent has previously, I wouldn't say outright denied in a formal sense, but there haven't been approvals of use of millings, at least in uplands areas, for certain applicants. So I think we just need to, when the permit is ready to be discussed, we can talk about it further, but I just wanted to bring that to the commission's attention.
Yeah, that was in the past, right, when did, I don't remember exactly when that started, but. Yeah, I do know what you're talking about, because it was more of storing things, right?
I don't recall. It was Ryan Fitch, and he just, and I don't know which agent he was referring to, but just that it hadn't been approved. He was frustrated that, the town had an application before the commission, and this is my interpretation of it. I might be, misrepresenting. He's not here to speak for himself, but just calling attention to the fact that others hadn't, been allowed to do so in a further distance from a water course. So just share that information.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we'll have to take that into consideration, I guess. We'll have to look into, I guess, if he applied for a permit, we'll have to look into why it was denied, and if it was similar to the grounds for this, what's going on here. I guess we can compare the two. I don't know, that's what, I think it was a while ago.
Yeah, I can see.
And again, like you said, Megan, I'm not exactly sure either, but as far as I know, I thought the permit was to spread milling, and then he was trying to store millings, and I think like piles of it. I think that might have been different.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think the agent and the commission we need to be consistent on this topic. I don't know if I shared it with the commission. I did do some research into millings. I don't, based on the information I found, think it's necessarily the best material choice for such a close proximity to a water body. There are chemical concerns, and I think if it's not necessary or absolutely, needed to be done by the town, I think from a wetlands watercourse impact perspective, it's not the best choice.
I agree, I definitely
Even
agree.
if there was distance, because wasn't that talked about, like, coming away from the water, putting some big stones and.
Yeah, that's what we had discussed, and that's the drawings I think we were waiting on, was to see, could we put barriers to try to control vehicular traffic and potentially increase vegetation. But I'd like, not knowing the source of the millings or the composition of them, it's literally right next to a water course. I just think it's a bad precedent to set. We're going to have a really hard time approving this permit, and then, somebody else comes before us and wants to do the same thing. I just think we need to think carefully about it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it's kind of a slippery slope. And like you said, we have to show consistency, so.
Yeah, I don't see anything recent in emails or documents in the file for this application that would indicate any new information has been received. I see the old plans, which, as you indicated, are pretty sparse, so I can see that we're already got more detail.
Okay, so once we get good mapping, we can definitely make a decision and I think discuss it further. Is there any new business?
No, right.
Commission discussion, well, we kind of, I guess, just discussed a few things about, the millings and, our feelings on millings. We're not huge fans of them by the water course. Is there any other commission discussion? Anything else anyone would like to bring up? No? Any other business? That's it. Next regular meeting will be Tuesday.
Oh, I do actually, I'm sorry to circle back, but under commission discussion, it did come to my attention, and I don't know how I missed this, but that we have 4 alternate vacancies. And I was wondering, yeah, so we definitely have at least one official, and then there's sort of a gray zone where I think wetlands kind of has 2 extra alternates, but we at least have a very clear second alternate vacancy. And I didn't know if we had been posting that or otherwise trying to advertise for applicants for that position or those positions.
Haven't seen any advertisements, but I think it's a good idea to try and do that. I see 3 open positions, but maybe I'm looking at things.
No, you might be right. My math is poor. Very poor. Yeah, so I think we have Bill as 1, and then I think, yeah, there's 4, and it's I think it's an issue where the charter and blanking on the term, but
I haven't heard or seen anything from Brad Kelly. I think he was an alternate, correct? Did he step down?
He's a member.
Oh, he's a member.
Yeah, and I emailed, I didn't hear back about this meeting.
Okay, okay.
I haven't seen him in a while.
I haven't seen him in a while. I thought he was an alternate. Okay. He was a member.
He's a member until next June.
Next June. Okay.
that was
Yeah.
my. So are we all on the same commission
we are.
term?
All your terms expired, June 30th, 27.
Okay.
Okay, would you be able to reach out to, is it Roberta who updates the website, those things?
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Okay, okay, maybe send her an email, see if we could get something posted to.
Sure.
Get
Absolutely.
an alternate. Does that sound good to you, Megan?
Yeah, especially, I mean, obviously tonight there was just the 3 of us, so I
Absolutely.
think it's good.
Okay, any other discussion or anything anyone would like to bring up? Okay, our next regular meeting is Tuesday, August 4th, 2026 at 7 p.m. I make a motion to adjourn the meeting on Tuesday, August 7th at 8. Oh, I'm sorry. July 7th at 8:04 p.m.
I'll second it.
All
I
in
was gonna give that
favor?
one to you, Jan.
Motion, meeting adjourned.
Nice seeing you all. Have a good evening.
Good evening, Megan. Have a good night.